All right, so it's 2015, November 19th, WIKISPEED Standup. Um, we'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and kick us off if you don't mind, and just cover what we did last week, what we did next week, and if there's any blocks. Um, okay, so first off, this was on my list last week. I verified that Google Analytics is still working for the website. I thought I was going to have to go out and get the Google Analytics or Google API code and put it back into WordPress because it didn't look like it was there. But actually, it's still communicating with it. So I probably looked in the wrong place originally anyway. Um, so in the shop at the Sunday build party, I finished spraying layout fluid on the rest of the angle plates. I started measuring and marking several of the angle plates. And then I actually stopped doing that because I decided to go ahead and finish drilling the rest of the holes into one of the angle plates. I was holding off on that because I had planned on mounting that drill press to the table, but I ran into a little bit of a block with it. There's like a slide out metal drawer, um, or like a metal shelf kind of, I guess, like a little platform, and that doesn't allow clearance to. I was thinking it was just a drawer, not like a little metal platform. So it doesn't give me the clearance to get the mounting bolts in there, which actually I've written down under blocks later. But yeah, I was wondering if there's a better way to mount the drill press to the table without having to drill it into the table. Um, so, but I did decide to go ahead and finish drilling the holes in this one to test some stuff about it. And I'm glad that I did because it brought up a question for me. I have it here. If I was going to have enough, which I pointed this out on the demo video I uploaded for the Sunday build party too, but I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough clearance this direction to get a socket over the part um, once I have the correct size bolts in there. So actually, I went and got at least one that's the correct size head and tested it. Basically, it's real easy to do. Got a socket there and show that it totally will fit pretty much perfectly. Even if this is not the correct grade or in metric terms class bolt that I need. So even if it's a little bit thicker, it should be fine because the design that I had is definitely taller and still it still fits. If you put the correct size one in there, there's plenty of clearance. So I was able to test and verify that, which was good. I think I already mentioned, shot and uploaded the demo video. And then I looked into some bolt supplier options for metric bolts to get the correct grade of metric bolt, which in metric terms it's called a class, and in I guess in SAE, I think that's correct. If it's a grade 8 in metric, it's a class 10.9. And I actually purchased to do this test because I didn't know a metric class 8.8, which is equivalent to like a grade 5, I believe. But it's fine because it would basically verify the test I needed to do right now anyway. So I need to, I need to research that because what I'm looking at right now is the bolts that seem like they're going to work for what I need. At the amount of bolts that I'm currently going with, I think I need 192 to mount all of these plates if I'm using 8 bolts per plate. And it's looking like about 350 bucks just for the bolts. That's not counting locking nuts or washers or anything like that. So I need to look into and actually I'm getting into what I'm going to do next week now. So I'm going to compare pricing and local availability because the metric bolts are really hard to find around here at any kind of hardware store, especially the nuts for some reason. So I'm going to look into the pricing and availability of SAE and metric and make a decision on if I'm actually going to prototype the metric bolts or if I'm going to go back to SAE. And then I guess once a decision's made on that, I'll verify that the drill bit sizes that I have currently will work, or if I need to get new ones and purchase those if I need them. I'm also going to work on drilling the rest of the angle plates. Of course, that's dependent on if I know if I made a decision and if I know what I'm doing with that. Okay, so I need to research. I want to look into options for displaying a 3D CAD model like interactive that you can rotate around on the front page or the home page of the website. I just briefly glanced at it before the call, and I think there are options for that. Um, and it probably shouldn't be too difficult, but I want to have a research story specifically devoted to that this week, just to see what may come of it and what the possibilities are. And I did a few weeks ago. I think a few weeks ago, our suggested process improvement was painting things orange that were like test parts, things that had not necessarily been verified, or things that we not that we're testing. So I bought some. Oh, I wasn't sure if this paint would actually stick to it without some kind of a primer. So I bought some primer, a specific aluminum primer, and some orange paint. And I'm gonna paint at least this part that I've made so far, and see what the results are. What needs to be done to be able to get the paint to stick well to the aluminum. So I plan on messing around with that a little bit. So for my blocks, I've written here. Actually, I wrote down that I wanted to verify that grade 8 or better is what we needed, but I think we already verified that before we started the recording of the call. And I also mentioned in the shop the table that I have. I'm just trying to figure out if there's a better way to mount this. I don't know what I'm thinking. Maybe a bracket or something to mount this drill press to the table without having to drill into the table. It's probably not necessary. It's just where I'm at with the thinking right now. And I'll save retrospective and process improvement until everyone's had a chance to do the stand-up portion. So who would like to go next?
Well, I can go next. Last week, I took my two NetGain industrial controllers apart, and very surprisingly, there is no big scorch marks. With the big bang that I got out of the one controller, I was hoping that it was going to be an obvious problem and I could just replace a part, and that unfortunately hasn't been the case. So that was a bit of a fail. I'm going to be posting some pictures of that, hopefully get some help online. And the process improvements from 3 or 4 weeks ago, make your spouse happy and happy that you are doing WIKISPEED stuff, and happy basically by doing a couple of the high priority tasks that she had on her list. That was successful, but the video portion was a fail, and it just doesn't feel right to stage it afterwards so that you can take video. I felt like an idiot even asking, so I didn't. Next week, I'm looking to do liquid cooling for my AC motor, get some plumbing together, and I guess look into my Cougar open source DC controller and see if I can get that sucker working. I've got the same blocks as I did last week. Battery pack that I ordered didn't get delivered and doesn't look like it's going to be delivered. And I need to find some connectors for the encoder on the AC motor. And I believe that is about it for me. Hopefully everybody heard at that time.
Excuse me, my mouth is full. I did not get I didn't get anything done this week. For the coming week, I'm going to do the same plan, which is to work with Chris to get Dropbox again and find the financials and get started filling in the IRS grid. So that's kind of where I'm at. And blocks is I'm still getting the house working. My wife recovering from her health problems last spring, so Those are still somewhat blocks, but I would say they're 50% gone. So I'm contemplating doing more. I want to read up on Scrum some more and lead a meeting. So that's another thing. Maybe I'll try and do for next week. And so that's it for me. Except that I wanted to say that Chris's bolts, now that they're all together, if we could expose some part of that, we would have a really cool steampunk car. Because it looks really, really like cool 18th, 19th century technology. I mean, in a good way. So, if we had that spinning around, that would be really cool.
That's awesome, Lord. Also, I'm glad that you brought up the Dropbox thing. I'd totally forgotten about that, and unfortunately, we had a power outage here, and I had forgotten to save my notes that I write down in the stand-up last week, so that was lost, and I didn't have my little notes running that I was planning on working on, so I'd completely forgotten about that. So yeah, we can definitely get to that this week. So I don't think so, but is there anyone on the call that has a stand-up that has not yet given it that would like to? Okay, so that brings us to retrospective, where we give a score, I think usually in WIKISPEED from 1 to 10 for our ability to contribute to the team, and score from 1 to 10 for how we feel about how awesome the goals of the team are. So for me, I'm gonna go a 10 for myself for my ability to contribute, because I thought going into this week or this sprint, I would say, that I was not going to be able to get to the shop. But the plans that were keeping me from getting there fell through, and I was actually able to go spend a few hours and verify and work on some things that I'd been anxious to try to get to done. So definitely a 10 for me this week. And a 9 for the team. I still am always seeing stuff go. There's new members joining all the time. There's information coming through the forum. When I posted the demo video on YouTube, someone made a suggestion that actually, before I knew the answer to if this was going to work or I needed to move these bolts or what, a suggestion of maybe if we even need this many bolts, if we can use less. Things like that. So yeah, definitely, it's awesome to see. It's very easy for me to jump in to work on something, to show the team what's going on, to get feedback. If not instantly, near instantly, especially from a team of volunteers and just interested hobbyists. For process improvement. What would make next week even more awesome is I think last week we were thinking about maybe finding a good place, and I think the suggestion was maybe on the homepage to publish the sprint goal for people that want to kind of swarm together and attack something that we just need to get done as a team. I think it would be, in the same vein, a good place to go ahead and post our weekly process improvement. Wherever we decide to put that information, to also have our process improvement goal along with that sprint goal. And that would be it for me.
Okay, I can go next. So retrospective, for me, I'm going to give myself a 6. I did get some stuff done, not nearly as much as I was hoping. I'm going to go with a 9 for the team as well. Things are happening. We're getting through stuff. I posted a comment on, posted a link to a supposedly open source, open car entertainment system, and then actually read the end user license agreement and realized that it was anything but open. And there were several comments on it basically before I went back and posted about it, so which is kind of cool. Process improvement. I'm still playing with Google Hangouts. I think that we can actually have a link on the home page that anybody can click on and start a Hangout. I can't figure out how to invite people to it, so that if you're working on something and you just want, somebody to bounce ideas off of, that you get it up and running, and anybody that's around can connect up. I think that would be kind of cool, but I guess I should put that on the list for next week to see if I can figure out how to do that. Anyway, that's about it for me.
Okay, so in terms of the link, you're. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to think. Like basically, you can get the link and email it to the Wiki team, just the way we do for our meeting.
I don't want to interrupt your train of thought, Lauren, but I know the exact answer to this question.
Cool.
So there is a link already in Carica. So I created a Hangout that has a start date of sometime in 2038. And this is like a permanent Hangout, right? So it never goes away until 2038. So that link is in Carica. It's on, I want to say in like the Linwood. I don't remember now if I don't think it's on the Linwood board. I think it's on the master board. So there should be a few of our Carica boards that actually have this link, and it says for impromptu pairing. So yeah, to get that on the website anywhere should be very easy. It's just a matter of getting that link, and wherever we decide to put it on the front page, or I mean, I'm sorry, on the website.
Okay, cool. I didn't realize you had already solved that problem. Okay, go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah. Okay, so I give myself a 1 for because I came to the meeting, and the team is a 10 still because I'm in awe of all you guys. And process improvement. Something just struck me that it would be an extension of what Chris is saying about the orange part, which is I'm working with documents and draft documents. So if I could color them probably a pale orange, then that would be a what would you call it? Same look and feel as working in the shop. So if the document is pale orange, it's still being developed and tested. So that's my thought on the process improvement right now, I think.
That's awesome, Lauren. I actually do that same thing when I'm writing research papers because you use a template, and I actually color everything orange that has not gotten. I actually have a whole scheme of colors that I use for different things. While I'm writing a paragraph, it's in red until it's been verified. The last research paper I had to write, I totally threw Scrum into the mix, where I had a definition of done for every paragraph that was written, where the citations were already completely documented, and it was the page numbers, like everything had to be done for each paragraph. Once it turned black, I didn't have to think about it again until I did regression testing, where I read it from top to bottom. So yeah, it sped up the process completely. So yeah, it's awesome. And then maybe like I have another color if I'm kind of in the middle of not sure how something's going to go, if I'm going to keep it, if it's going to go. So yeah, it's awesome. So I think I feel bad, Michael, if you gave a process improvement suggestion and I just either just forgot it or zoned out for a second. But in my mind right now, I have to display the process improvement publicly along with the sprint goal, and actually, and again with the for documents that are kind of in process to use color coding for those. And then Michael, if you had one, could you throw it in now?
I was actually talking about having the link to the live Google Hangout, and you have already done that. So I guess
We'll consider that process already improved.
yes, I
But
think if we
actually a
can
good
get that more, if we
so
can get it more visible, and I have absolutely no idea how to broadcast out. Okay, hey everybody, if
rest.
anybody's online, let's talk.
So I would say, I guess the improvement there would be that currently it's only available in Carica, even though that's visible to the public. Not a lot of the public goes there. I don't know about everyone else, but I really don't use Carica that much at this point. So I would say that maybe the process improvement there would be to get it onto the website, because from the website it can be easily shared to social media, to Twitter, to Facebook, anything like that, or to any other websites. Um, so did anyone have? I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know the best way to vote on what we think the actual um, process improvement as a team. Um, that we should focus on next week should be. Um,
Yeah, I like the impromptu pairing. I
okay,
like that name too.
okay. I think I would agree too. So then maybe the process improvement would be for this week to get a Google Hangout link somewhere on the website. Um, in my mind, possibly up on the sidebar somewhere would be good, but there may be a better place for it. So yeah, we'll look into that and see what we decide the best way to deal with it is.
Yeah, okay, I'm okay with that.
Cool. All right. Well, that completes the essential ceremonies. So, did anybody have anything for crosstalk or whatnot?
Um, Lauren, I'd like to ask a little bit about the budgetary stuff and the filing.
Sure.
Is there
What?
a summary somewhere that we can go to and find out what is required? Or we can just kind of chip away at it because it sounds like the sort of mind-numbing stuff that you can only do for a few minutes at a time.
Okay, a little history, if you don't mind, which is I was going initially. Something's happened between a year ago or 6 months ago when I was talking to Joe, and now initially there were shoe boxes with everything in them, and my plan was to go and spend 2 days with Joe, sitting in the center of some big boxes and tossing the receipts into boxes. So apparently now it's in Dropbox. I don't know exactly, but yes, you're right. You're totally right. And it is on Carico Linwood
Okay.
under in process, I think. And it's a PDF, IRS 501c PDF, something like that. If you have trouble finding it, email me and I'll locate it exactly for you. Or if you see me on the Hangout,
Okay.
then that would be an application. And I'm setting a goal for myself to talk to Chris about Dropbox by hitting the link this week sometime.
Okay. My free Dropbox space ran out when I think my HTC phone came with 26 gig free for 2 years, and I ran out of that. And then with the 2 gig that you get for free, it would let me look at it on the website, but it wouldn't actually let me look at it on my laptop or my phone. My new phone said something about Dropbox. I haven't really investigated yet, but I'll see if I can actually get to it. It's a lot easier and a lot handier if you can get to it from a laptop, because then it kind of puts a copy locally, so you can just go and look at it. You don't have to navigate through the tree and double click on things and wait for them to download.
That twigged my memory. I remember why I kind of got rid of or didn't look into Dropbox, because it scared me that if you deleted it yourself, you deleted it for everybody. Is that still there? And how hard is that to deal with, Chris or Michael?
Yeah, so if your Dropbox account is turned on your computer because it does a constant sync, and you go into the Dropbox folder, and delete files and folders to clean up space on your computer, you are in fact deleting them out of the Dropbox account.
Uh,
And also there is a
and there's
space
no
issue.
option to stop that?
Um,
Do not sync?
well, yeah, right. You can turn it off. I mean, you can stop the
Yeah.
Dropbox, whatever you would say, service, and you can tell it not to sync anymore and then delete it. But if you forget to do that, then
Yeah.
right, then you basically just deleted all the files for the team, which many of them are backed up different places. I mean, I don't have the latest copies right now, but I mean, I think I have multiple copies of what's been in Dropbox because of working on this OwnCloud thing. And actually, I'm paying for Dropbox right now because of having trying to get OwnCloud working, in order to be able to have access to all the files. And I think when I started, it was one of those deals where they gave you 5 or 10 gigs to begin with as a trial period, and then dialed it back down to 2 gigs for the free account. And it allowed me to keep accessing it, and everything was working fine until for some reason I disconnected it and reconnected it trying to move some files around. And when I did that, it would no longer give me access to all of the files on my computer. So I basically had to end up getting an account, which for the amount of space we have right now, I think it's like $10 a month. It's actually why still in my mind getting on cloud or something else working is a priority, because I've been paying that for a while now, thinking I was going to knock it out in a month or two.
And the reason you do this, I have a problem with this because I'm used to kind of logging on to a server, and I just find it it really makes me nervous. Um, or I'm also used to, say, version control. Git. I don't use Git, but I used C.
SVN or something.
Yeah. Subversion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last thing I used. Yeah. But those things protect you a lot. You have to deliberately do something.
You actually
they keep everything.
That actually brings up an interesting point, is that some Dropbox and OwnCloud, anything like this, works really good for quick sharing of things back and forth, and would work good for certain files. But yeah, it maybe not be a bad idea for us to have some sort of a document repository of either files that are set, or like you say, some sort of a something with a revision control in it for set, for documents of record, basically.
Yeah. So the disadvantage is, you don't have it on the local machine. But for me, I have a good connection, so it doesn't worry me too much. And actually the thing that it has a quasi version control is a wiki.
Right. Well, yeah, I would say maybe again, maybe the idea of separating
and maybe
out.
That would go with WIKISPEED.
Right.
WIKISPEED
Yeah, exactly.
wiki.
But yeah, maybe the idea of splitting out documents that are being shared with the team for things that are currently in process. So shareable documents and documents of record would there may be a better place than something like Dropbox to keep things like that. So
just so you guys know, if you make a backup to your local C drive, because it puts the Dropbox image on C drive, it actually moves all the files out of Dropbox. Don't ask me how I know.
It's interesting.
And as half of Joe's files disappeared before I realized what was happening, that it was doing a move instead of a copy.
Ooh.
So I got the fun of exploring the entire directory tree and looking at every file and seeing whether I deleted it and then undeleting it.
That sounds fun.
It is painful, but there are backups there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I mean that's just another example of, to me, it's a risky thing.
It's really not designed. It's not designed for multiple users like this. Dropbox is designed for single users. So we're very much stretching even the capabilities it's trying to offer.
Yeah. Okay. So then the parallel is instead of having version control, everybody working in one spreadsheet, which is
Right.
always a disaster.
Well, I mean, the Dropbox way of dealing with it is you have the option to share files, read only, or you have the option to completely share. Like you can give people access
Yeah,
to your directory. So they're thinking in the
yeah.
idea of multiple people accessing, but yeah, not. And there are ways to apparently, because it's happened before, there are ways in Dropbox to go back and recover files that have been deleted.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's had to have been done before. But apparently, it's not a fun process, and it's it's time consuming and difficult, and not what you want to have happen to you.
No, it was a very unpleasant process. Well, it was for me anyway.
Right. I think
So
Joe's
I
had to do
think
it before
I
too.
might kind of look into that. Uh, do a little research on people's impressions of collaborating. I mean, yeah, to me, like a wiki is built to collaborate and it's very safe. There's a record of who edits what and who does what, as well as it never throws anything out. But it's at least in the better. I don't know about wikis, but in the better version controls, they're very parsimonious because they only keep differences. So they can keep they have a vault with everything, but in fact the vault's not very big.
Right. Yeah, I mean, as long as one of the advantages of Dropbox or things like that is you can it has like viewers built in, so it's easy to share all different file types and to those to be viewed sort of in a browser or whatever, something like that. Where on a wiki, I mean you can attach things to a wiki. I don't know that there's any way to have the viewers
Right.
built in. I mean, I could be completely wrong on this. This is a
And
top
that's
of
an
my head.
issue with all the CAD and everything, and the different kinds of CAD.
Yeah, but I mean, again, something like MediaWiki or how Wikipedia is made, you can attach files to everything, and they can be viewable right in there. So it may not be that bad of an idea.
Yeah.
To actually use like MediaWiki has its own markup code to get things to view properly in it. I've tried to implement it in a small company before to get people to use that as the document repository, and for
Right.
the knowledge base and things like that. And I could almost never get anyone to learn the little bit of markup code required to make it to make everything displayed properly.
Yeah. So at Blue Cross of California, I used uh, it was a commercial product. I don't remember what it was now, out of Oregon,
Mm.
that had a kind of free. Actually, no, the company bought it, so that wasn't. But it was much more like cut and paste and menus and things for doing things. So on the other hand, that's cool. I like the raw stuff and a little bit of markup, and most of our people shouldn't have a problem with something like that.
I like
Although
it.
I'm not good with HTML.
Yeah, I like it too. I mean, and plus once articles are in place, it's a lot easier to go in and update them because you can just kind of work around the markup code. It's already there. So it looks like Michael either got disconnected or jumped off the call. Did you have anything else for
Nope.
open discussion? I don't
Nope.
think I do either. So I
Okay.
guess we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll check out. I'll see if I can connect from in the next, say, by the weekend via the Carica. And I
Okay.
might then email Michael more specifics about
Right.
where to find the 501c application.
Okay, I did want to mention on that if it's not in the Linwood shop, and I think you are invited to this, it may be on the online team board. It may have gotten moved to that.
Yeah, I noticed they've been moved around, so I'll poke around
But
in
that would
there.
be the other place that it would likely be. It's either going to be in the master. I don't think it's in the master backlog. So I think it may actually. I want to say, last I looked, it's on the online team board.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Talk to you later.
All right. We'll see you later. Oh, real quick. I saw you reconnected there, Michael. Did you have anything else for open discussion?
No, not really. My laptop died. That's why.
Oh, okay, cool deal. Well, yeah, we pretty much we didn't nothing really happened after you left, so we just wrapping it up now.
Yeah, I just had to go find a power supply. So
Cool deal.
okay, well, I'll talk to you next week.
All right, we'll see you. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.